Now, tell me, men of God walking around with bodyguards, what are they afraid of?
It is for their protection.
From what?
From what? From armed robbers, bandits, and people with evil intention. Let me say this. People will always say, why are men of God walking with bodyguards? Why do we wear shoes? Because you are a man of God, you shouldn't wear shoes. God has given everybody a mindset. You have to be protective towards yourself. And the truth is that our own measures to protect ourselves are limited. But God superrules, and God is the best protector. When our measures fail us, God steps in. But there are measures we must take. Even Jesus Christ, in his days, his nearest disciple, Peter, had a sword. When they came to arrest Jesus, Peter pulled out his sword and cut the ear of a Roman soldier. And Jesus said, put back your sword. Jesus would have said, throw the sword. Put back your sword. Maybe there are instances that this sword can be necessary. You may need it, but just put it back. Don't throw it away. You know, I don't have any problem with men of God moving with bodyguards. We have all kinds of enemies. And somehow, if like a place like Nigeria, Cameroon is even better than Nigeria when it comes to security. In Nigeria, these people, because of the notion people have about men of God, they got money, kidnappers are behind them, all kind of evil people are behind them. So to an extent, and there are people, for instance, there are men of God in Nigeria who have ministries in more than 100 nations plus. In fact, some countries don't even have embassies in 100 countries. But you have men of God who have ministries planted in different countries. They are like, they are assets to their nation. Why should they not be protected? Okay, many people will cite examples of, an example of Prophet T.B. Joshua, a very humble man we all knew, who is resting in the Lord today. He was a man down to earth, who did good to humanity. In fact, there is no prophet in Africa who created the kind of impact Prophet T.B. Joshua created. But you know, there's security around the Synagogue Church of All Nations in those days, even with so much anointing and power. God has given us a mind. We need to protect ourselves. Why do we wear the thick coats during winter? It's because you protect yourself from cold. When you master your terrain and you see that this terrain needs security, you put that in place. So I don't see why men of God should not be with bodyguards if it's necessary. If their lives are threatened and they know that they pose a threat to the kingdom of darkness, and Satan can come in any physical means, and there are some security measures that are supposed to be put in place, let those measures be put in place.
Okay, those measures should be put in place. These are what you are saying.
Yeah.
You know, men of God, they are moving around. Seemingly, there is. I begin to wonder where threats will come from men whom you say are simply blessing people. Where would this threat come from? And how do those of us who also have enemies, how do we survive?
Do you know that there are people who just look at you, you look good, and you are a problem to them, and they just hate you for looking good?
So you get.
Do you know that there are enemies?
You get bodyguards to be walking around.
For instance, it's not just an issue of being afraid of.
Many persons also hate me, man of God. I'm not working with.
It's not just an issue of being hated, no, or maybe you're afraid that they will come kill you. Let me tell you, there's what we call stampede. Anointing attracts. There are men of God that if they don't have protocols around them, they will be stampede in their meetings. People want them to touch. People want to fall on them because they believe that they are carriers of grace. And as such, sometimes we have protocol and security to put checks so that stampedes and other atrocity or other things should not go wrong in the meeting. Imagine everybody wants that you pray for him, and they've just fall on you. What will happen? There'll be casualties at the end of the day. So sometimes this security just creates order. That's all. But people will be looking at it as if you are just afraid that they're going to kill you or one thing or the other. I think security is good to create order in a place. They can be there to create order. If not, stampede. There have been meetings of men of God.